Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
We are from Group 3, and before we begin the presentation, allow us to introduce ourselves. My name is Putu Aljabari, and my partner is Lili Sugiyarti. And we are going to present about the process of comparison from a psycholinguistic approach or implication for translation. Okay, the first section will be represented by me. The introduction. The main object of research in psycholinguistics is the study of the cognitive process that underlie the comprehension and production of language and the way the cultural environment interact with them. Among the experimental methods most frequently used by researchers are reaction time measure. That is the time it takes a person to respond to a stimulus or perform a particular task in which certain linguistic variable, such as semantic and morphophonological properties of language constituent, and extra-linguistic variables such as age of acquisition and learning environment are interconnected. Next is priming, where the effect of exposure to previous semantic and morphosynthetic information on current language behavior is tested between prime and target. And the last one is the strobe-like paradigm, in which the properties between two stimuli are manipulated in a way to indicate whether the relation facilitates facilitating effect or inhibits, and neurodiagnosis technique include eye tracking such as ERP or even related potential, which measure electrical magnetic resonance imaging, or MRI, which measure change in blood flow and oxygen use in the brain in response to a stimulus. The focus of research in transology is the observation and analysis of language translation. It becomes clear that psycholinguistics and transology are interrelated. In addition, because transology mainly deals with the competence and performance of bilingual or multilingual speakers during translating, while psycholinguistics has dealt with the cognitive aspect of language use. The next is the basic concept of meaning. Language comprehension appears to be a very simple and natural process for speaker, listener, or reader. However, a great deal of research However, a great deal of research has been carried out to identify the stage our thought goes through before we are able to construct an interpretation of an intended message. Prior to presenting the main issues that are relevant to comprehension of meaning, it is worth distinguish between two concepts that are closely related to meaning. That is, between a word denotation and a word connotation. The former refers to actual meaning of word, what is usually provided as a first definition for a word in a dictionary. The latter refers to association people make based on cultural specific or other personal factor or ideological emotional. And the representation of the meaning of the word. Alright, certain theories have been proposed to account for how words are represented in our mind. One of them is the references theory of meaning, which equates a word meaning with what the word refers to in the world. On, at, on the other hand, the prototype theory of meaning assumes that a word meaning can be derived from a bundle of features, and no one of which individually either necessary or sufficient. According to this view, a prototype constitutes the way knowledge is organized and can help people categorize concepts by checking whether these concepts share some features with each other or not. And then the next one is comparison of word combination. It has been suggested in the psycholinguistic literature that people's interpretation of word combination may rely on a number of linguistic and extra-linguistic factors, such as thematic relation, that is, what kind of association may exist between two entities. Next is property link. referring to the properties of the two entities and how this can combine to lead to a meaningful utterance. Next is the hybridization, whereby the meaning of the word combination is equally shaped by both constituent. And the last one is past experience, referring to the constituent. Uh, and the last one is the past experience, referring to the knowledge people have acquired from previous use of one of the two constituent, with respect to meaning that its constituent may carry when combined with other. Okay, and the next section until the end will be represented by Lily Sugyarti. And for Lily Sugyarti, time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Sadam. Next is sentence comprehension during literal meaning processing. In order to be able to understand the structure of sentence, people have to combine different sorts of information relating to language constituents. That is, they have to be able to retrieve first the semantic representation of each lexical item in a sentence. Next, the grammatical information this item carry, carry about their nature. Next, the syntaxis information about other item they can combine with, and the kind of dependencies they may form. Thus, thematic role that specify the relationship between the constituents, such as agents, theme, recipient, instrument, and grammatical relationship, such as subject and object, have to be assigned. Finally, people tend to tie the representation that is built throughout all this process to the discourse context. In other words, the precise meaning that is assigned to a sentence is highly correlated with the discourse environment within which the sentence is presented. Next is sentence comprehension during figurative meaning process. Hartley in 2005 proposed three main types of figurative speech: first, metaphor, idiom, and indirect request. Metaphorical expression consists of smile in which one thing is quoted with another of a different category. Next is a street metaphor, namely a single as metaphor. And the last one is synecdoche, where a part replaces the whole or the whole for a part. To understand the structure of this sentence, the three-stage model, it is important to remember that we must first obtain the literal meaning, which they then test again the context to check for its plausibility. In case it ever appears to be implausible, further interpretation are attempted. Next is text comprehension. The text comprehension theory that has received the most attention is the processing cycles theory of construction integration theory. According to this view, text representation is constructed by integrating each sentence representation into the context that has been formulated by preceding sentence. In this sense, every time a sentence is introduced, the whole text representation is updated. That is, during every sentence occurrence, ideas have to be reorganized and new relationships have to be established to include new information. And the last is factor effect comprehension. Factors that can facilitate our hidden understanding can be distinguished on factors related to individual difference. Understanding skill can vary from one person to another due to the level of competence and performance of of different people. What makes good and bad can be due to psychological limitation, such as limited short-term memory capacity due to age or brain damage. Next is understanding, for example, time, pressure, or a noisy environment. And the last one uh, does not have the necessary knowledge. For example, background knowledge and certain language information to successfully construct a representation of meaning. Furthermore, the factors that can facilitate or hidden understanding are factors that are relevant to the material to be understood. The former creates more connection between linguistic elements, prefixing the processing capacity of the mind, while the latter does not require extra cognitive abilities to process the nature of the text, such as stylistic clarity of ideas expressed, can also determine how successful the understanding process.
All right, thank you for listening, Yati, and that's all our presentation. We are sorry if we making a mistake, and thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.